But I would tell you unequivocally in this case, clearly the intelligence was wrong on this vehicle. And we certainly regret that, as I've been very clear.
In what the Pentagon called a tragic mistake, US Central Command Kenneth McKenzie admitted that the drone strike that was supposed to target ISIS-K group members killed civilians in Afghanistan's capital. The top general even said that the government was studying how payments for damages could be made to the families of those killed in the tragic strike. He also added that America would learn from its grave mistake.
As you will also understand, it's very difficult to reach out on the ground in Afghanistan, to actually reach people. But we are very interested in doing that.
The top US general remarks came after the United States launched a probe to find out whether the airstrike had killed civilians on August 29, 2021. Earlier, senior US officers said that the airstrike that took place when foreign troops completed the last stages of their withdrawal from Afghanistan was targeted at ISIS-K members who posed an imminent threat to Kabul airport. The US general said that the military forces had tracked a white Toyota for 8 hours after spotting it at a site in Kabul that intelligence had identified as a location where the ISIS-K group was believed to be preparing attacks on Kabul airport. The intelligence reports led US forces to look out for a white Toyota Corolla that the terror group allegedly used to disrupt the evacuation process. Notably, when several reports of civilian casualties had emerged after the airstrike, the US general had described it as righteous. While it is rare for senior Pentagon officials, including the Defense Secretary, to apologize personally for civilians killed in military airstrikes, the US military usually publishes reports on civilians killed in operations across the globe. The US general also revealed that one of the civilians killed in the airstrike worked for a US aid group, Esmarai Ahmadi, and he had no relation to ISIS Khorasan. McKenzie further offered his deepest condolences to the relatives of Ahmadi. Several Afghans, including a 2-year-old girl, were killed in a US airstrike targeting a vehicle in Kabul's residential area on August 28. According to the local media, 9 members of a family were killed in a US defense airstrike against an ISIS-K group member following the Kabul twin blasts on August 26. News 9 had earlier reported about the researcher from Uni Westminster, Muslim Shirzad, who had claimed that the civilians killed in the attack did not belong to any terror group.
Again, the US official hypertension that 2 suicide bombers were in an explosive-laden vehicle targeted by a US drone strike today in Kabul is wrong. Targeted by a US drone strike today in Kabul is wrong. I can prove that they didn't have any connection with ISK or even had any criminal record in the past.
This was not the first time that America was blamed for killing civilians during airstrikes. There were several other instances when the strikes killed innocent people. In a major military blunder, at least 22,000 civilians have been killed in US airstrikes during the war on terror in Afghanistan, Iraq and Syria. According to UK NGO Air Wars, the number of US strikes since 2001 is more than twice as high at around 48,000. The report also suggests that the civilian casualties due to drone strikes were more in Iraq and Syria. The intelligence failure in America's last military strike raises questions about its ability to keep a track of Al-Qaeda and Islamic State threats. The horrific consequences of the US military's miscalculations have raised doubt on its counter-terrorism operations in Afghanistan, presence no longer in the war-torn nation.